Hi there, welcome to Elite Yoga. I'm Claire, your instructor. I have been a professional dancer and I've been doing yoga for over 30 years and teaching for over 20 years, as well as Pilates actually. And I have worked with a lot of elite athletes, including the Sydney Swans for 12 years and a cyclist group. So I have a targeted exercises that I know, exercises and stretches that I know that work for cyclists. In terms of exercises, they're primarily on the subscription service, but we're going to do a recovery session and learn how to do these stretches properly, because that's why they work. And it's also really important that you don't injure yourself, if you're a little bit out of balance. So that's what we're going to head into. We're in a regional area, so today the internet's been a bit funny. So if it does drop out, we're going to upload the video and you can do it in an hour or whenever you want. Okay, so let's begin. We're going to start on your back and we're going to have your legs together in line with your tail. So make sure your legs aren't over here or over there, but they're centered in line with your tailbone. Relax your head down. You're going to lift up your left knee so that your shin is parallel to the ceiling and you're at a 90-degree angle. You're going to turn your pelvis to the right, taking your right hand on the outside of your left knee. Now keep the backs of your shoulders down on the floor and the back of your arm. You can see the left arm is pointing up to the ceiling, the palm, and you can feel the back of the elbow stays down on the floor. Widen your shoulders and feel as if you're standing on the floor. So the crown of the head lengthens up, the crown of your head, and your sit bones stretch down. And that might be a bit difficult to put awareness there at first, but with practice you can. Come on back, pulling in from the tail to the navel, stretching your leg down. Okay, lifting up your right knee to a 90-degree angle, right arm out to the side, left hand on the outside of your right knee, turning your pelvis to the left. Okay, so getting your brain connected to every cell in the body is part of the practice of yoga. So through awareness, until that awareness becomes feeling. So you can feel everything. In the beginning, you feel 2 or 3 things, and in the end, you can feel thousands of things all at the same time. Lengthening up to your head, down to your sit bones, and drawing in the muscles from the tail to the navel. The action goes in and up towards the diaphragm. Come on back. Okay, feet together, knees together. Just with your pelvis relaxed, this is called a neutral spine in Pilates, because this is how you would be as if you were standing. You don't walk around like that with your butt tucked under, and you shouldn't walk around with your back in an arch. Okay, so this is like a neutral position for your pelvis and your lower back. So in that neutral position, I want you to engage these muscles underneath your pelvis from the tail to the pubic bone. Think about just pulling the tail towards the pubic bone and up inside. And then you're going to scoop in from the pubic bone to the navel, this whole region, in and up and across, in and up, in and up. And it creates this called lock or a blockage. And in yoga, we call this mula bandha, which means root lock. And that is your core. That is the most important part of the core. And it's as if you're going to lift the anus up inside towards your throat. That's really important because that engages your inner spine muscles. Okay, I go through this more slowly in the subscription service. I'm going to use those muscles. I'm going to cross your right foot above your left knee and keeping your pelvis in that neutral position. Pull your toes back so you're in a dorsiflexion of your ankle, and you're going to rotate this right thigh bone out. Open your shoulders. So that's the same thing as your right thigh bone pressing towards the front of your mat. Okay, but you don't twist your pelvis while you're doing it. That's just taking everything from here to here. You want to keep the pelvis still and the leg turns out, and that's what separates your piriformis. Okay, then you're going to pull in your lower abdominals, pick up your left foot and holding behind your thigh, so the back of your thigh, you're going to keep your pelvis down using your, so you're going to keep your pelvis down in neutral. You're going to press your right knee forward and you're going to draw your left knee in. So it's very small continuous action of your pelvis rolling down, your right thigh turning out, your left knee drawing in. Okay? So think of it as everything is not really a held position, it's a movement. And that's what changes your body. Come on back down, arms out to the side, and then you're going to rotate your pelvis to the left, keeping both the arms out, both the palms up, both the backs of the shoulders down on the floor. And then if you do go all the way, you're going to press down your right big toe and then open your right knee towards the front of the mat. And this works then even further into that sciatic nerve connection, releasing your sciatic nerve through the piriformis, where it runs down through your piriformis. So this nerve runs from your L4, L5 and down through your pelvis through your hamstring. Okay, come on back, one of your hamstrings. Place your foot down, left foot crosses your right knee. So start initially just with your pelvis down, okay, and notice from the right side to the left side. So maybe one knee was like this and the other one was like that. So that tells you that your rotating muscles, your external rotating muscles are all tight. Tighter on one side, and you'll probably have a burning on that side. And you'll also have a weakness in other movements with the other side. So it's all about creating this balance, okay? That's where nerves flow freely. When you don't have any impingement of nerves, you have strength everywhere, but you also have no pain, no impingement. Lifting your right foot up off the floor, taking hold of the back, your right thigh. And so your left knee is turning out, your pelvis staying down, your right knee coming towards your chest. So working to create balance. Usually doesn't happen in one session. You're going to have to repeat these properly, and it's really important to understand the alignment. So just learning how to do the postures. Remember, it's movement. Place your foot down and the arms out to the side, turning your pelvis slowly to the right. Still like you're standing on the floor, crown of the head lengthens up, sit bone energy down to the front of the mat. If you get all the way, the big toe presses down and the left knee opens out towards the front of your mat. Breathing out. So we're not going to work in a beginner type of situation with your breath when we're working on the environment in the beginning, but it's important to access your parasympathetic nervous system and to allow your body to release, that you breathe out easy. You just start that happening. Okay, come on back and place your foot down. We're going to pick up your strap now. And if you don't have a strap, just get a belt or a towel even for the moment is fine. Just so that you can have something to press your foot into. Okay, so we're going to, first of all, just put the ball of the foot in the strap. Press your sit bones down to the front of the mat. So that's really important that your hip comes down. Okay, then take the strap. The ball of the foot is in the strap. Open your shoulders. Engage your left glutes, and this left knee should be pointing up to the ceiling. And then your big toe, this right big toe, the ball of the big toe is going to press away into the strap, and a little bit more than the other toes, and all the other toes are also, the ball of the foot is opening into the strap. And so you're creating this just gentle force of pressing into the strap, and then your mula bandha, the muscles from the tail to the navel pulling in and up, that is where your power comes from, your energy to pull your leg toward your head. So see if you can get that access in your brain. So the mula bandha is pulling the leg, you are pressing into the strap. It's a different energy force, okay? And it creates long elastic muscles, making sure that you're not bending your knee to try and get further, because now you're just changing the action. It's not creating any more length in your muscles. And remember, it's not going to happen in one day. It's going to be over time of doing it correctly. Strap in the right hand, left hand on your hip. You're going to rotate this leg out. And so your pelvis stays down, your sit bones down. Okay? And as you rotate the leg out, keep your shoulders wide and you're pressing out through your big toe, keeping your left glutes engaged. And when you take your right leg away from the center line of the body, your left glute meats need to pull in more. Okay, those muscles need to pull in. So they pull in at the side of the hip and around the back and come back. So it's more the anterior fibers of the glute med. Okay, your glute med actually wraps from the front to the back. Okay, right leg down and then your left foot in the strap. And then you're going to stretch your sit bones down to the front of the mat. Engage your right glutes. Make sure this right leg isn't over here, just doing it all at once. It's got to be in line from where we started when we had our feet together. Okay, so opening the foot into the strap with the big toe energy away. Open your shoulders and then engaging your mula bandha, and that is the energy that's pulling your leg towards you. Okay? And I mean, you don't have to always go to maximum. I'm not going to maximum today. You know, it's about you bringing awareness everywhere. That's your level of success. Okay, so about accessing all of the right action in the posture. Take the strap in the left hand, right hand on your hip, and rotating your left leg out. Okay, so rotating the leg out, keeping your mula bandha and the glute medius are helping you to stay stable on the right side while you open. You're allowing yourself to stretch your inner thighs and inner hamstrings on the left side. This series is something you really want to learn and do every day as a cyclist, a hip opening series. And come on back. Okay, bending your knee, slide your leg down. Okay, so you're going to bend your knee again, put your right foot in the strap and take your leg to a 90-degree angle or less. Turn the leg in and you're going to take the leg across you and then take the pelvis over as well. So across and make sure the backs of the shoulders are down. You can put your arm out to the side. So this is stretched for all the way down the side of your leg and you'll feel it's a good sacral nerve release, this one. Come on back. And we're going to put your left foot back in the strap. And we're going to take your leg to 90 or less. Turn the leg in. Right hand has the strap. And turn the pelvis to the right. Okay, come on back. Okay, so now we are going to do a little back release, okay? So you're going to, on your back, have your legs straight. Now, in yoga, it's assumed knowledge, and this is why I think it's good to learn some Pilates as well, that if you do any of these inversion poses, that you can just lift your legs up using your abdominals. And a lot of people can't do that. Like, that requires training, you know. So I do have these movements to train in my subscription service. You can do some of the abdominal stuff there. But from here, and as a cyclist, you're going to have bent your knees bent because your hamstrings will be tighter than normal. Okay, and you're going to use your abdominals to pull in and round your back Open your shoulders and just go to here, like just start to separate the knees beside the ears and just do it gentle so you're in control of the stretch. Rounding your back. And then that's enough to start. Start to round down, so you're rolling through your abdominals. You'll have your knees bent still for the moment. And then keep your abdominals in to lower your legs. Okay? Now, from there, just you should just wait a second. Okay, so it's a really good flexion where you flexing your back. So, when you do a sit up, you're flexing your back in a much less extreme way than that nerve stretch is, okay? But in order to get all of your back muscle stretch, it's a really good one. Okay, come on up. And now we're going to have your legs crossed like this, flexing your feet. So that's step one, okay? And then if you want to try and you don't feel much of a stretch in piriformis and in your outer hip yet, just place your left knee and then place gently your right one on top. So now you've got one on top of the other. Okay, if you can't sit up, then sit on your block. That's okay. Okay, so you're going to pull your toes back. And then from here, we're going to roll your pelvis forwards. So your hip bones are going to roll forwards and your sit bones are going to roll back because it's the same bone. Okay, it's your pelvis. So your pelvis is the center of the body and it's doing an anterior tilt, which in yoga we call a forward bend because the hip bones are rolling forward towards the femur, your thigh bone. It's the same for Pilates as well. Then when you get if you want to put your hands out in front, you can do that, but you're not leaning on them because the center of the body is where most of your energy is. Okay. And then roll your pelvis down to come up, and we'll do the other side. So left leg is going to cross in front. And then if you want to try the harder version, and if you don't want to roll forward, but you can sit, say like this, and just work, just sit there, and instead of doing the forward bend, just gently help it with your hand to go down. That's a great release, and that'll be more for you if your legs high, if your knees up high. If your knees pretty low, let's go into the forward bend. Rolling your hips forwards. So you should feel this much stronger stretch now in the piriformis, and you're out, and you should feel it in the hip, the outer hip as well. Breathing out, keep lifting your mula bandha, lowering your knees a bit more, pull your toes back so don't have sloppy ankles. Changes the action in the shin. Okay, come on up. Now, we're going to put your legs, so we're doing this yoga pose called Navasana, otherwise called the boat pose. And so you're going to lean back 6 degrees with your back, and you're going to get your legs as straight as possible. So again, you might be here. That's okay. So you think, oh gosh, I've already got 5 hip flexors. But the thing is, try to put your energy into your abdominals. So pulling in from the tail to the sternum, open your shoulders, draw your shoulder blades down, and it corrects this inner hip alignment, and that's why we're doing it. So put your big toes and your inner ankles together and your heels, and think about sucking up your inner thigh muscles and press down your sit bones. And that changes. So if you're on the bike and you're using one leg a bit more than the other, it starts to get these muscles more the same and the inner hip muscles. Okay, and then release. Now we're going to sit in Baddha Konasana. So you're going to take your little toes and heels together. And because a lot of you are tighten the hips, don't pull your feet in close for the moment. Just have them a bit away. And if you still feel a pinch in your knee, then have them even further. That's okay. And the main thing is that you sit up. So if you can't sit, if your lower back is in this position, you need to sit up on the block until you have your lower back straight. Okay, so your back comes before your legs and your hips. So pressing down your sit bones with your back straight. Take your big toes, turn them out, and then you're just going to keep pressing your sit bones down and lower your knees. And again, if you have one hip, and you would have discovered this right at the beginning of the session, so let's just say your hip's up here on one side and this one's down here, then you're only going to work on this one and try and get it to that one. And then over time, once you hit equal, then you press them both down. But it's no point in getting this one more and more open while this one stays tight. It's about the balance. Okay, so opening your thighs, pressing down your sit bones, not rounding your back. Okay, and then I imagine most of you will be up on the block for this. So we'll sit on the block and we're going to do a twist. So stretch your right leg forward without locking down into your knee, and the knee points up to the ceiling, and your left foot on the other side of your knee, and those toes are going to point forward, and this knee points up to the ceiling. And then you're going to try to get the back, you're going to try to turn already to the left until you get a big twist already, and you're going to reach your left hand around your lower back. Okay, and you're going to open your shoulders wide, press down on your sit bones, and try to press down your left foot. And then you're going to turn your upper back to the left and also your neck. So you turn your head and see if you can turn your eyes all the way to the left. When you breathe out, turn a little bit more. And look forward. And now your left leg will point up. Your right foot pointing forward with the knee pointing up. Start to twist. Take your right hand around your lower back. Press down on your sit bones. Try to press down your right foot. And your Mula Bandha, tail to the navel. So when you breathe out, twist a bit more. A little bit. And not hard. Go easy with it. Breathe out easy. And look forward. And we'll release that. Okay, so now we're going to come into a lunge. So we're going to put your left leg forward, your right leg back. So your second toe of your left foot will point to the front of the mat. Your right knee will point down. Your pelvis is now going to be in a backwards tilt. So it goes down and under, like you're squeezing your bottom under. Okay, the glutes are engaged, your Mula Bandha is engaged, your shoulders are open. Pressing down your left foot. Pressing down and make sure your knee's on top of your ankle. Long lunge first, then we'll lower your knee. And you're going to lift your back, and you've got your pelvis still coming under, glutes still engaged. So now you'll feel, this is a kneeling lunge, you'll feel a stretch on your right psoas. We're just going to keep your toes tucked for the moment and get into the big toe tendon as well. And that affects your psoas and your inner thigh connection and your back. Okay, then you're going to place your hands down and we're going to go back to a downward dog position. So your downward dog, you've got your feet a hip width apart with the outsides of your feet parallel to the edge of the mat. They're not underneath your hips, they're a hip width apart, okay? And your hands are your shoulder width apart, Broaden your shoulders and roll your armpits down to the floor, wrapping your shoulder blades down and forward around your ribs. And then lift your sit bones up and back. You won't have straight legs just yet. Try and get your back straight first. And then you're going to step forward with your right foot. Okay, so second toe points forward. Sit bones come under, so your pelvis rolls towards your ribs. Left knee pointing down. Heel goes back, your left heel. Then press down on your right foot once you've got your right knee on top of your ankle and your glutes engaged. Open your shoulders. And then we're going to place your knee down. And then you're going to lift your back. Hips coming down and under. And you should feel a stretch now in your left psoas. And it's really important to feel which psoas is tighter. Okay. Get rid of that. Your psoas attached to your spine. Okay. Hands down. And we'll go back to the downward dog. Open your shoulders. Rolling your shoulders down. Okay, so we're going to come up to standing. And we're going to put your feet a meter apart. And these are some traditional standing poses. You're going to turn your right leg out 90 degrees, so your second toe points out, and your left toe's in 5 degrees. So the left hip turns in, right leg turns out. Turn out your thigh muscles and pull them up without locking your knee. Pull up the thigh muscles. Your shoulders, so your hips are turned to the right, but your shoulders are going to face forward. And then you're going to press your pelvis gently to the left, and you'll start to separate your hip muscles. There's very few things do this, but Trikonasana. So you're going to press your pelvis to the left, keeping your shoulders facing forward, just like so. Open your shoulders. Then you can start to take your hand up. Hand faces forward, and you're in a sideways position, okay? Not a forward position. And then you draw your shoulder blades down towards your hips. Keep your right thighs turning out and up. Open your shoulders. The end range is with your big toe, and that's it. This is called Trikonasana, the triangle pose. And then your hip is going to, your pelvis comes down to come up. Turning your right leg in 5 degrees and your left leg out 90 degrees. So your second toe points out, thighs turn out and lift up. Okay, shoulders face forward, pelvis presses to the right, separating these muscles. Okay, and they'll be tight on you, so you might be, here, that's fine. Once you feel, okay, that's about as far as I can go, you can put your arm up. Remember, so this is the final position, is to take your big toe and press down the big toe mound. Open your shoulders wide. Blades come down to the hip. Crown of the head stretches away from your tail. And then come on up. Okay, so now you're going to take your legs wide. And you're going to turn your right leg out 90 degrees. And then you're going to bend this knee, and the knee's going to go over the second and third toe. And you're going to think about this right sit bone coming under. And then you're going to lower this arm in front, pressing your knee back. Open your shoulders, and you're going to lengthen up on the diagonal. So you're lifting little finger faces down. And you're going to lift up through your little finger and down for your little toe. And come on up. You're going to turn that leg forward, left leg out. Okay, and so now you're going to bend this left knee without leaning into it first. Sit bone comes under. So that's the main thing. The left sit bone diving under. Okay, thighs wrap out, glutes are engaged. Second, your knee pointing between the second and third toe. Just correcting your knee alignment, ankle, your hip. Open your shoulders, draw your right shoulder blade down and forward, reaching up through the little finger down through your little toe. The actual, and then come on up. So we didn't go into the full range just yet. That lunge, that should be a position you'll be able to get into. Feet 1 meter apart with the outsides of your feet parallel. Taking your hands behind your back, roll your shoulders outward, and now you're going to suck in all the way up to your sternum, tail to sternum. And then you're going to roll your hips forwards. This is a standing forward bend until you feel all the way down the backs of your legs stretching. So you're not floppy here. You're actively pressing down into the floor, lifting your sit bones up, wrapping your shoulders back, lifting from the tail to the sternum now. And then we're going to bring your pelvis down, stand up. Okay, so now we're going to do a 1 foot forward bend. Right foot faces the front of your mat. Left foot faces the corner of the mat, so the whole thigh muscles turn out to the left corner as well. Second toe of your right foot faces forward. And for the moment, just put your hands on your hips. You can feel you're going to roll your pelvis forwards. Roll the pelvis forwards without locking your right knee. You're going to lift up your kneecap, point your big toe down into the floor, this ball of the big toe like we did with the strap. And so you're lifting your bum up and back, and you feel all the way down the back of this right leg, all the way, and you can feel how your piriformis has affected your hamstring, has affected your calf, and how it affects your Achilles tendon and your big toe tendon. And then press your pelvis down to come up. And we'll go the left side. So left foot forward. Right leg faces the corner of your mat. Make sure you're not turned in your pelvis. Hip bones face forward, even though this leg turns out to the corner. Hips forward, like headlights. Leg turns out. Second toe of your left foot forward. Feel your pelvis roll forwards. That's what it's doing. Rolling forwards, pressing down your big toe, spreading your toes. Think about this foot going through the floor. Now you're going to feel all the way down from your left sit bone to your left Achilles. And you're going to bring your pelvis down to come up. And that's your yoga session today. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week.